This is the Retroid Pocket Flip, and today we're going to be reviewing it, comparing it to the 3 Plus, and deciding, is it worth it? Better stay tuned. This is your Geek Fix. So if you're like me, you might have a lot of handheld consoles, and many of these are getting to be more than 20 years old at this point. And regardless of the consoles that we have, there's always that dream of having everything on one device, which is nothing new. Emulation's been around for a while, but the handheld consoles, to be able to play your different games, has been improving. And one of my favorite and most affordable consoles is the Retroid. This is the Retroid 3 Plus, which I got over this past year, and then it was lost by my kids at some point in time in our household. Still don't know where it is, but I liked it so much I decided to buy another one. And while I was waiting for it to arrive, I got an offer that many previous buyers received to be able to get the Retroid Flip, which is in the style of, say, a DS. And they also were offering it for quite a bit less than what it would be released for later on. So I pre-ordered it, and it arrived today, and thought that I would open it and check it out with you guys. I will say something that's interesting also about the purchasing of these is that when you go on, you get to choose from a few different styles. There was one style that was supposed to be a limited edition. I wasn't that interested in that one. It's just a paint job that's really limited about it. But the other thing is, in every single case that I've purchased one of these devices, I've tried to purchase also a case and a screen protector. And in every single case, they canceled and refunded me for the screen protectors and the cases. So I don't know if that's a US thing, because I noticed that some other people did receive their actual cases. But in my case, they just seem to send the Retroid itself. So, and that's what I got. Here's the box. It looks just like the box that they sent my other one in, but it's slightly smaller, of course. As you can see, it has that magnetized end to it, which is kind of cool. I like the box. Going inside, what is this? I didn't get this with my other ones. It has a Retroid card, which on the back, gives us all of the layout and the functions. And then, right here, we have the silicone bag, and inside. Now, like I said, I chose one of many choices. As far as style goes, this one is the black Retroid case, or style, I should say. And when I open it up, wow, yeah, it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's honestly pretty nice. Anyway, let's see if it'll turn on here. Sure enough, we got the Retroid Flip logo going. Oh, very cool. So, and I can do my basic setup here. When you first start it up, you get to choose whether or not you want to pre-install some of their emulators. I choose not to, because honestly I can get the same ones updated, and they seem to run just as well or better as the experience that I had with my 3 Plus. In relation to the different emulators, I didn't have a problem running any. I was even able to run the PlayStation 2 and Xbox emulators with no problem. The only thing that I found is an issue is if you plan to use RetroArch, because it has some issues in Android being able to find the SD card at times. You have two types of launchers. I kind of prefer this one because I'm able to see my apps easily. I always wonder how much the launcher kind of uses up some of my functionality. So how different is the Flip from the Retroid 3 Plus? The answer is, well, they're not that much different. The biggest difference is the form factor and the price. However, I did notice that when I was adding some different apps to my Retroid Flip, I was able to add some that were compatible with it that were not for some reason compatible with the 3 Plus. So that would tell me that there's some things that are different in relation to the board. Another big difference between these is the battery size. I mean, this is slightly thicker, not really that much heavier. I think they're about the same, but this one has a 5,000 milliamp battery, so it should last much longer. And honestly, so far I haven't had any problems with it. I just played multiple games and it's still at 93%. So one thing I like a lot more about the Flip is that it has the start button and the select button within a reasonable distance from my thumbs, which the Retroid 3 Plus for some reason placed on the top. And so you had to reach over with your index finger to be able to push either one, and I just thought that was always kind of awkward. The Flip also has 128 gigabytes of internal eMMC storage. I'm using a 400 gigabyte card inside of it. It has no problem running. On this side we have our TF card slot. The issue is that everyone seems to be complaining about, and is very true, it's hard to open up to begin with. It needs a tool is what I used. And then once when you get in there, getting the card in and out is also difficult because of how recessed it is. And so you really have to be careful. I had to use my tool also to push that in. So some things I'm gonna say about this that I know, because I only got this one, but at the same time, I did not like the watermelon or the special editions, the red, the transparent version. This version, the black, I think is actually the best one to get. It's actually, for plastic, it doesn't feel like plastic. It almost feels like aluminum on the inside, and feels like it's really high quality. I mean, the whole thing feels quality, which some of the other versions did not seem to be. The clamshell opens nicely, locks into place pretty well, but at the same time it's kind of modeled after the DS, which, you know, bends back quite a bit farther, goes a bit beyond where it needs to, whereas this, you got to be careful. It can't go beyond this point without breaking that hinge. I wonder if it closes the screen, turns off. It does, goes into sleep mode. When it's closed on the front, we can see we have our power button over here with a 3.5mm audio jack on the other side. Over here we have an audio rocker for turning up and down our volume. On the back, this also has an output that is HDMI at 720p, our C port for charging, and then we have our standard triggers, L1, L2, R1, R2, but also we have this M1, M2 set of buttons which are programmable that we didn't have on the 3 Plus. Yeah, back here we see this venting. Supposedly this thing has its own cooling system. And I don't hear anything though. He's holding it up. I don't hear anything. So, I don't know if it's something that actively does that. I was thinking about opening this up just to see what it looks like on the inside. One of the things I really like about it is the speakers. I can't play a lot of the sound to the different games that I've been playing, but I can play you some audio from one of my own videos, and you can hear it. It plays really well. I mean, it sounds awesome. I can hold it actually quite a ways from myself, and it still sounds really good. That's with it also cranked up a little bit with the audio levels, but yeah, sounds great. On the inside, I was kind of surprised. I thought that the screen might be bigger than the 3 Plus, but it turns out that it's actually the exact same size. It's a 4.7-inch touch screen, just like the other one. But it's high quality. I mean, high quality picture, very bright. People complain about how bright it is. I was using it and my son walked in and said that it was too bright, even for where he was in the room, and wanted me to turn it down. But I think it's awesome. I can see it anywhere. I took it outside even. You can see it just fine. And because it's adjustable, I also can put it to where it wouldn't have so much direct light on it. When it comes to the buttons, again, I don't know if this is specific to the black version, but honestly, they are nice and stiff. They feel great. Same thing with the D-pad. The whole sliders are also pretty nice. I think some people complain about them, but honestly, they feel good quality to me. I know they're not dipped as much as you would see on some other devices, but honestly, they have good grip, and they don't spin or anything like that. So personally, I think they're great, especially for the height that they had to put them at. The big question of, is it worth it, is one that's a little tricky, because I will say, even though we have these rockers, for example, on the back, they're placed in such a way that when I open up the back, my fingers don't exactly fit. So I can't operate those triggers very well because of the clamshell that comes down. But I do like those new buttons, which I didn't have the option for. And for some of the games that I played, including I actually played some Vita games recently, and I was able to use some of the grappling that was made for the Vita using those. I like the placement of everything on here. It is a little bit cumbersome to hold, but then again, so was this back in the day. So, I mean, it doesn't feel too different. If you're looking for a feel that's similar to some of the devices that you use, clamshell-wise, this will feel familiar, with the exception, of course, of also having some triggers. I like the placement of the start and reset buttons. I like the volume and things. In the end, I think it really just comes down to what is your preference for the feel of the device. If you're used to playing the Switch or a PSP, I really like the Retroid 3 Plus for that reason, and it feels ergonomically a little bit more comfortable than my Flip does. But on the flip side, I do like a lot of things about this, and it does have some capabilities I didn't have with my Retroid 3 Plus, and I don't know why that is. Looking at the specs, they seem pretty similar, so it really is hard to say. But I'm curious what you think. Which one would you prefer? Which one would you use? Leave it in the comments below. Also, stay tuned for our future videos, which includes me being able to look inside this device without even opening it. In the meantime, like, subscribe, comment below, and stay tuned for more from your Geek Fix.